After receiving your shipment, unpack and match the parts to the shipping list. The base unit will consist of one cover, 4 pieces of track, one cover drum, one leading edge bar, one box containing the drive module, one bag of hardware, and the cover pump. To organize your work area, set the drive unit at the designated end of the pool where you want it installed. Then, place the tracks down the sides of the pool in their appropriate installation position. In the parts bag, locate the T-shaped track splice connectors. These will be used to align the tracks. Insert as shown. At this time, you will need to determine the track length based on your order, starting at the drive unit end with no more than a 2-foot setback from water's edge. Then, measure the track to have a 1-foot overlap past water's edge at the closing end of the pool. Once the track length is determined, cut the track. Deburr and file all the edges on the track, making sure the edges of the cut track is smooth to the touch. With both sides of the track cut to length, remeasure from side to side in accordance with sizes given on the pool cover order form. If possible, have someone help you with this step to ensure proper spacing. You will need to take the measurements in 3 different sections of the pool. The first at the drive end, the second in the middle, and the third at the closing end of the pool. It is now time to measure the track-to-track width. This is taken from the edge of the recessed groove of the track. After determining the width dimension is correct, you will need to measure the pool diagonally to make sure that the tracks are true and square. Adjust accordingly to reach the same measurement. It is crucial that your tracks are square, otherwise your system will not function as designed. Then mark the track locations in case of movement. At the end of the track opposite of the drive unit, install the end pulley retainers. There is one for each side. Fasten the screws in the following positions. The first hole at the drive end, the 2 holes on both sides of the track joint, at the track joint, be sure to leave about 1/8 inch gap for thermal expansion. And the final hole at the end of the track. Fill in all remaining screws. Be sure to leave 1/2 inch of the screw showing above the track. It is now time to mount the cover drum supports. Measure the distance between the black Delrin track guide and vertical threaded stud. Mark this measurement on the track and drill a 1/4 inch hole in the track. Push the track down over the stud and hand tighten the 3/8 Nylex nut. Repeat this procedure on the other side. Then, mount and secure both plates with the track screws. Using a 7/16 socket or wrench, loosen the two bolts to remove the top half of the white Delrin shaft retaining blocks. Do this on each of the support's ends with the top halves removed. Place the shaft of each end of the drum into the U-shaped section of the lower block and re-secure the top half of the retaining block with the two 7/16 bolts. Tighten only to a snug fit, making sure the drum can still spin freely. To position the independent rope reel module, use a framing square or other squaring device. Have the front of the units in line with a slight gap between the sockets. Firmly secure the module to the deck using all available holes. Place the cover behind the cover drum and unroll. The matte finish is on the top of the cover. Unwrap the ropes behind the cover to avoid tangling. To feed the rope into the track, position the rope at an angle across the track opening. While simultaneously exerting some pressure and applying a sharp tug, the rope should pop into place. Evenly pull all of the rope until it is all out of the opposite end of the track. To pull the rope through the rear channel of the track back to the drive unit, apply the same technique as before. Take special attention at the track joints in the middle of the pool, lifting up the track slightly to ensure the rope pulls through smoothly. Finish pulling the rope through the track to the drive unit while pulling the rope out the end of the track. Make sure the rope is properly seated around the end of the track pulley, then install the protective end cap. Repeat the procedure for the other side of the track. Once done, secure the rest of the track screws. Hand feed the black Delrin sliders about 6 to 12 inches into the track on both sides. Guide the leading edge bar onto the bead at the front end of the cover. Sometimes a small spray of silicone lubricant in the receiver bead will aid in this procedure. Once the leading edge bar has been threaded on all the way, you will need to mount the leading edge bar to the black sliders. Use the two 5/16 bolts and Nylox nuts. Insert bolts and washer through bottom of the slider with a nut on top. Tighten all the way, then back off slightly to allow the bar to move freely from side to side. This will prevent binding of the leading edge bar. Leave about 2 inches of bead protruding past the leading edge bar, then secure bead using 2 small pan head screws provided. Reattach the top half of the end of the track guides using a 3/8 inch wrench or socket. Repeat procedure on the other side. To run the ropes, you may need to lay the cover on top of the cover drum. Beginning on the non-drive end, run the rope around the pulley towards the rope reel, Then do the same with the rope nearest the drive module. Feed both ropes through the corresponding pulleys under the rope take-up reel. Then pull both ropes down the side of the pool, making sure there are no knots. With the ropes laid out, cut the longer one the same length as the shorter rope. You will need to melt the end of the rope to prevent fraying. Walk the ropes back to the take-up reel and push the end of the rope through the holes in the rope spool. You will then need to make a small knot for both pieces of rope. Once this is completed, hand feed the rope onto the take-up reel. You are now ready to extend the pool cover. Insert the two poles into the sockets of the rope reel and alternately move the poles back and forth until the cover is all the way across the pool. At this time, you will attach the cover to the drum using the smallest stainless steel Phillips pan head screws. Start at the outside edge. Insert the first screw through the cover, leaving the webbing to hang over the drum edge about 1 inch. Repeat this procedure at the other end of the drum. Find your exact center, gather the cover fabric up, and attach through the apex of the fold. Working your way down the drum, pull the cover tight and insert screws into each hole until you reach the final two. You will need to divide the slack with 2 equal pleats and attach as before. Repeat this procedure for the other side of the cover drum. Roll up the additional cover material onto the cover drum. You are now ready to open the cover using the 2 poles. Insert the poles into the 2 drum sockets and alternately move the poles back and forth, opening the cover completely. Congratulations, your easy cover system is now complete.